Okay. Whew. Yeah. So this has been a weird morning. Um, Trying to figure out cables and such, but I think I got it. Ooh, plug this thing. Because I still never figured out the thing that I was trying to do the last stream that I ended up having to delete the VODs for. Because I was trying to get this to stream to, or like get it to where this showed, like this screen shows up on stream. It wasn't working. But I did get the breakthrough on how to get my IRL setup working. Only downside is I might have to find a different extension for the cable because so or actually, I can do what I was doing before, or do what I was trying to do before. I'll just have to hold it up like a real whiteboard. All right. I'm gonna exit you. Now that I've got that figured out, pull up the whiteboard. Making me sign in. Stupid. Have to hit the no. Too many steps. Anyway, so if you look right here, hold on. Make sure that I can see what I'm doing. Or I just show you some bullshit. This is gonna be our little whiteboard, right? Oh, gotta reposition myself. So what I'm actually trying to do was this, right? So we're gonna represent that with the box, and we'll just put SP11 Surface Pro 11, and then the thing that I need is, let's say that this is you guys. What I was trying to do is go from me, which has to be seen by a camera. We'll put G for GoPro. We'll put S, K for your boy. And, well, I gotta get closer to the camera. And move this way. All right. But yeah, so you'd have the Surface Pro that's actually going to be basically like the PC in this situation. Well, I mean, not like the PC, it is the PC in this situation. But the problem is I wasn't getting any footage. I thought there was a link to my It feels like there's, or it looks like there's lint. I don't know. I think it's gone. But I had the man, shut up. Um, I had this thing that I was planning on being the play like the PC for this situation because I still want to be able to use things like OBS so I can show you guys like the BRB stuff. Because like the what do you call it? The overlays that I wanted to be able to use is the goodbye, the BRB, and the hello. So like when I first start the stream, I always have like the hello playing at first, and then like if I need to go somewhere, do something that like you guys don't necessarily need to see, or specifically shouldn't see, because that's a thing. Um, I figured that I'd be able to what do you call it? Like like just pause it and then like just use because I also have my phone connected to it that my phone will have two functions, and that's OBS Blade, which will allow me to switch scenes without having to actually use the tablet, and also so I can read your guys' chat, up close and actually like see what it is that you guys are saying. Or even if I have to, well, probably through Blade, monitor the stream, um, just to make sure it's like working, or if you guys are saying like, yo, I can't see what's going on, I can switch and see what you guys are looking at. But I needed to get from here to y'all. YOU. The problem was the GoPro has a lot of weird stuff when it comes to connecting as a webcam. So, for instance, for my PC, there's the webcam app. The webcam app doesn't necessarily work that well, and that's why I have to do like things like restarting and restarting in order to get it to work. Um, and trying to figure out like what workarounds I can use to get it to work more often. But the thing that kind of messes it up was this doesn't necessarily, or the people that made the GoPro webcam app, GoPro, they didn't make it for this thing's processor. This thing's CPU is kind of different. So like yeah, sure, it's still Windows 11, but the apparently just by virtue of it being a different CPU knocked that all the way out. So I wasn't able to download the webcam app. Like I literally tried and it like the webcam app literally is somehow smart enough to be like, yeah, it's not gonna work on here. And it literally uninstalls what it installs. So like it'll get to a certain point and and literally it'll say walk like I think it's like says like walking it back or something like that. Or rolling back and it'll literally undo everything it just did, like whatever configurations it was trying to do, it'll just undo it. So tried that on multiple occasions, has not, and then also it hasn't been updated since 2022. I don't know why. Cause like it looks like GoPro was trying to have you do everything through the GoPro app, but like it's too complicated and it's too many things that can go. It's like when you add too many moving parts, it means that if one of those parts fails, like it's over. So what I needed in order to the only thing that makes this process more simple is a capture card. And a capture card, this could be anything. The capture card goes in between the GoPro or whatever your camera is because it's kind of for all cameras. It's just that GoPro has like software stuff that kind of gets in the way um in other ways because it has a way to bypass it, which if I remember correctly, a lot of cameras don't have the ability to bypass that, like with the webcam app. So like if you had like the Sony streaming things, you need the capture card to switch from the HDMI output to something that your PC can read unless you have an HDMI um port, you know. But I think I was seeing something also where if you go from HDMI, unless you have an HDMI port on your PC, if you go from HDMI to HDMI, I don't think it necessarily reads it as a webcam. So no matter what, you still need the webcam app for the GoPro, for instance. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure you just gotta, you can't really get around a capture card uh for other cameras, right? I think there's a thing like DisplayPort. I think DisplayPort allows you to do something like that. Um, because I'm pretty sure the DisplayPort is made for you to be able to like play back videos on your piece or on your camera and it just show it on your PC as it shows on your camera, which I would assume is just the DisplayPort doing like a the um the computer or your TV or whatever is just seeing what the camera sees and it's not doing anything with what the camera shows. So the audio and the video will go through. But if you try to go from HDMI to USB, the audio won't go through or something screwy will happen and you won't be able to you won't get what you're trying to do. So you need the capture card, unfortunately. So especially for the IRL setup, you need the capture card if you're using like a real camera and not like a phone. A phone, all this stuff goes away, but a lot of other issues might arise, like like auto stabilization that the GoPro has, and I'm pretty sure probably other cameras have. You don't get that in a phone. Phones can't do that. So there's that. Then there's also the fact that like uh I mean GoPros get hot too, but phones also get super duper hot. And whereas a GoPro will get hot and just turn off, phones will just fry themselves from what I can tell. Um, yeah, there's a couple of downsides to having a phone. There's also the fact that like you would need a second phone if you want to be able to read chat and stream. So like you would need the phone that streams and then the phone that monitors, you know. So unless I'm gonna like, I mean, in theory, let's say I were to go around with someone who's with me, I wouldn't have to buy another phone. But otherwise, you would have to buy another phone and have its own data plan, or you would have to get a Wi-Fi card. But like, no matter what, you need a Wi-Fi card just to have like a Wi-Fi card or a hotspot in order to do any of that. But then you have what is it called? Like actual dedicated webcams, which a lot of this isn't a problem, but dedicated webcams don't seem to have very good quality at all and don't do any kind of stabilization like at all. So there's that. Because I thought about that too. I don't know. I thought about all this stuff and it just didn't really like not a lot of it made sense. Then there's also that the only one of the three things that is safe for me to strap to my car if I ever wanted to do that is the GoPro. The GoPro is the only thing that'll survive. Um, you know, let it rain. Most cameras are done. Phones done. Well, phones maybe not so much, but probably still gonna have like terrible quality. It'll hit the lens and it's done. You're not gonna see anything. You're not gonna know what the hell's going on. Whereas at least with a GoPro, it has a fighting chance. Um, yeah, all kind of stuff like that that I want to eventually be able to do, but I definitely won't be able to do with anything but with a GoPro. Then, but the same thing still applies is I still have to get the signal to whatever is broadcasting it. So what I basically need is the GoPro to go to the capture card. Then the capture card goes to this, which can then do OBS, and then that connects to you. Now, in order to do, what do you call it? The extra stuff is the phone obviously doesn't have to be connected to it. So this is where we start getting into like the wires, right? Actually, I could just do this. Um, in order to get the GoPro, then I'll have to have a, what do you call it? Micro HDMI. So we're gonna go. So you need a micro HDMI. That's what its output is. It only has micro HDMI, Type C, which is mostly for charging or just sending data, but it can't send live data for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why it can't send live data. It don't make any damn sense to me. I mean, it kind of can, but you need the webcam app. I don't see why you need the webcam app. I don't know what software like wizardry is going on, why that can't, like what constraints it has. But for whatever reason, you can't just, which I feel like you should, connect a Type C to Type C or any USB to any USB, or like the Type C is obviously what the GoPro has, but to any USB and it just send the data live. Like I don't know why I can't do that. Um, I mean, hell, you can play back videos and stuff all day long without even downloading it. So like, why can't you just do that with the, what do you call it, like natively? Like, why is it not just a part of the GoPro? Anyway, um, cause yeah, cause especially cause it can wirelessly stream. Like I can stream. Let's say I decided, screw it, I'm just gonna go with like no overlays whatsoever. So like if you guys do like follows and subscriptions, I think in theory I could probably add that stuff to Restream. I'm not really sure. But basically, I could stream straight to Restream and then Restream would then be streaming to Twitch and YouTube for me. It's just that anything that I have to do, like if I need to if something happens and or like so especially like TOS stuff. If any like TOS stuff happens, like streams getting shut down. Like either I have to cut it off or they're gonna cut me off. Then there's what do you call it? Like other things that are just like, where I can't like I'll have to like be super mindful of what I show on the footage. Like, I'll have to be like super mindful about like, showing my card and things like that that I wouldn't normally like. You're not gonna see me pull out my card here in front of the camera sitting at my desk. I just I have no reason to. Like I can just think ahead of time and just make it sure I don't have to bring my card to anything, you know. I could like for instance, like if I know I'm gonna like buy a game or whatever, and I'm gonna just do that on stream, I would just bring a Steam card and just not capture me typing the Steam card in, you know? Um, but like there's things I can do that like I don't have to think so hard. But like with walking around, like going around Japan and things like that, whenever if I want to buy something, I have to make sure that I do not show me pulling out my card. Um, try not to show like receipts, I guess. But just different things I'll have to be mindful of in my daily life that isn't so secure whenever you are on what like when someone's showing you footage of it. Um, or maybe I'd have to like arm myself with things that are different, like the like certain cards that I think that don't show the number on it. I think like the Apple cards are like that, where it just shows your name and nothing else. But like I would have to get something like that in order to be able to like pay for things on stream, because I was like I did like a test footage of me like walking around like just recording from my GoPro, and like nothing else, just recording from the GoPro and walking around and doing stuff. And the amount of times I caught myself doing something that I'm like, oh wow, this is definitely going to show up on the footage. Like I went to like the convenience store, like 7-Eleven, and went to go buy something and realized I pulled my card out right in front of the camera. And then I thought like, I think I paid for something else, and I realized that even my phone, when I try to do the auto pay, it pulls up my card, and the card picture that it shows has my number on it. So I'm like, yeah, can't do that. Wouldn't be able to do it. I'd have to have like an Apple Pay card or something that doesn't have a number on it, and then use that to pay. Um, or some other way to get around that. Things that I would have to like think of way further ahead of time than just like, oh, I'll just buy stuff with a Steam card, you know? Um, anyway, super out of what do you call it? But with if I just stream straight from the GoPro, it's just not very secure at all, and there's a lot of security things that'll just be a problem. Um, so I have to pay for that in technology and wires and weight. Um, but maybe later down the line I don't have to do that, and I'll just or maybe I'll figure out some other way that's like super duper high tech. Because the other thing that I saw was streaming to, I don't really know how this works when you if you go far away. Um and this is something that I would probably need like a veteran streamer to like find out, or it's like one of those veteran streamers like telling people how they do it, because I've seen it like for instance on like bigger streamers where they'll literally be in one part of their house and they're doing something, and then they have like other setups around their house, or like how they have like different scenes around their house. And I'm assuming they have it connected somehow, maybe over a server where all their, like, let's say they have multiple computers or something like that. Um let's say they have like one in their room, and then they have one in their garage, right? Let's say this is like a car content streamer or something like that, and they have one in their garage that just shows when they're doing work and stuff like that, and they can get up and like look at it, and they've got the computer there with like its webcam on and all that. The thing that I wonder is, how are they switching? I'm assuming that the only way they can do that switching is over a server. So like all of it streams to a server that is streaming to Twitch or whatever they're using, right? So, but like that's like I'm thinking of people that like that can switch back and forth, because I know a lot of people, they're one or the other. So like you have like IRL streamers that all they do is stream from their phone because they don't really need anything else. And then there's people that switch back and forth between, what do you call it, streaming IRL and not IRL, and those people do them in separate sessions, which is probably going to be me for the foreseeable future. And then you have some people that I've seen that can literally just switch in the middle of the stream. Like they'll be like talking, like let's say I'm like talking to you right now, and then I go, I just get up and be like, all right, get in the car, let's go. And then when I get in the car, or like I'll have it like I'll switch it and you're just in my car somehow. I don't know how people are doing that shit. Like, and then like you're in my car, and then you watch me drive to wherever it is that we're going, and then after that, like what do you call it? I pick you up and we just start walking. or I get out of the car and then I switch and then now we're on my phone or something like that. I don't know how they're doing that. I don't know how that works at all. Come on, bro. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how they're doing that. That's something that's probably gonna either require me to be talking to someone who's like a pro, or um, figuring it out on my own in some weird way, or just technology um catching up and simplifying the way that we do things. But for now, it's GoPro with micro HDMI to a capture card. The capture card having a, in my case, full HDMI, and then that capture card, the one I have in particular, has an out that is micro USB, because it has a full HDMI out, and obviously that's not helpful to me. But you have like micro USB, then that micro USB, I have it going to a hub that just has like different inputs um to extend, because this thing only has two type C ports and that's it. I mean it has like one of those little home ports for you to like dock it. Um, but that's it. Other than like the power cord. It's a tablet. What do you expect? It's not like iPads where like I mean shit, even iPads they only have a one port. That's it. That's all you get. So this has got like a little bit more going on with it. But then you have that hub goes to one of the type C ports on the Surface Pro. Sorry for the glare. Um Dang, that window's getting bright. Holy shit. Um and then that hub having this, I also, because the other thing that I need is because, tablets don't have a lot of memory. A lot of PCs don't have a lot of memory. So I have the hard drive that has my overlay assets like the BRB and the hello and the goodbye. So that thing is also plugged in. Couldn't fit D in there. But you have the SSD, which is just C to A, and then this is C, this is the hub, so the hub's just a part of it. And then this is USB A, so just regular USB. Um, so you'll have micro HDMI to HDMI. This needs something to transfer between those two things. Right now my adapter is like really tiny. Um, so I'm probably gonna have to get a longer adapter, which I did have. I'm gonna see if it's still working right because I accidentally bent it, unfortunately. Because yeah, the way that it comes out of the GoPro, it comes straight out. It doesn't like there's like I haven't found one that does like any contour where it like comes down and it stays and it hugs against the GoPro. I haven't found anything like that. So it would be coming straight off of it, and if I put it in a bag or anything like that, which is what I did, and then the bag moves in just such a way it can like it just bent it. And that was enough to mess that cable up, I guess. Um, yeah. So the micro HDMI, some kind of interface that converts it to HDMI. These are just simple conversions, so they don't really require anything special. Um, then you have the capture card, which is the thing that translates HDMI to USB type data, and then that goes to the hub that goes to this. And then you have the SSD that has like the memory for like all these assets and stuff that I've got. And then you have this. And this I will just have, I think I'm also going to have this hub going to power. Make that bold. And then I'm probably going to have, and this is the thing that I was saying that I'm going to have to find something that's like an extended cable, is something that is USB-C to this power. Now, here's the big brain part. I have a bag. The bag right. The bag is got a two ports. It's got a USB-C port and it's got a USB-A port. And then the bag itself has its own cable that goes directly to this port. And the cable is an A port. Oh, gotta get closer with that. Or more like. So it has an A port. So what I'm thinking of probably doing is getting one of those I say getting one of those. I have what I used to I could like, I can use it to jump my car, but it's a power bank, right? That power bank lasts for, first of all, a really fucking long time. But the power bank will be plugged into the bag in its own little compartment, and then I can plug in the tablet here and the GoPro here, or vice versa, however I want to do that. But I basically have the two ports for the things that I need to constantly keep powered, and that's the GoPro, because the capture card requires no power. The power it gets is coming straight from the tablet. And it's like not that much power from what I could tell. But you have the GoPro, which obviously is the thing that needs, that's probably gonna have like the worst draw is the GoPro. The GoPro is going to be constantly draining, probably at a pretty quick speed. Um, but we'll have to see. It seems like it's going to be pretty fast. It seems like it's going to drain it super, super duper fast. And the warmer it gets, the quicker it's going to lose its power. So there's that. But I'll probably have it to where these two cables come here. Most of my stuff, the way the bag is set up, is on this side actually. Not most of it, all of it is coming out of this side right here, including this. This cable comes out on this side. So it's more like we're gonna have to make this bag transparent because I'm basically gonna have the tablet. The tablet's I I thought it was gonna be just the right size to fit in into the bag, but the bag is like barely too small. It's like barely too small. But damn, I got this thing fucked up. That's better. Not perfect, but that's better. I'd have to like look at it to see. I, but basically, I've got it so it'll be the tablet and then the bag, which is, like I said, ever so slightly smaller than the tablet. And then we'll use the bag like an X-ray because it's got some pouches that are like one pouch is like the most of it, and then there's like a couple other pouches that are like different. And I'm probably gonna have most of it in the main pouch. Um, the stuff that's on the outside or in the other pouches are gonna be mostly like just supplies, extra like not extra wires, but like extra charging wires for like my phone, for the GoPro. Um, but basically, I'm gonna have the capture card, which is surprisingly large, and the hub. And both of those, so like the capture card is obviously connected to the hub, but the cable's very long. Um, then the capture card has its other one that comes out here to the GoPro. Then I've got the cable from this, which is just a part of this, going to the actually hold on. It more like comes out and goes here to the tablet, right? Then here's the little port. I'm probably going to have a very short cable that also goes to the tablet to power the tablet. And then the other cable that goes to the GoPro. And then this cable is the one I can like plug into a wall if I ever need to. But I can also have it because the cables actually starts on the inside, and that will go down to the power bank, the big old battery, right? So it's kind of hectic because of the cables, but I just need GoPro to capture card to tablet. We'll put SP11. And then once I have that setup going, I just have these two connected to this power, and that's basically all I need. My phone doesn't need to really like the phone for the most part is gonna last all day. The only thing that I might add because data is a Wi-Fi puck, and that's it. That's all I need. That's all I need. Now, this is going to be like slightly a little bulky, but the bag is pretty compact and it can fit on me fairly easily. The only thing that I need now is a bag for the tablet. Because the tablet is, it doesn't, like, this thing doesn't come with anything that'll, like, allow me to strap it to the tablet in any way. So I do need to, I think I'm gonna get one of those, mesh bags. I don't know, like, about, like, other countries, but, like, I remember back in the day, we used to have those bags that were just like on a string, like that was like a drawstring, and then the bag itself was just like one like so I know that there was two different ones where it was just like a nylon bag, but the ones that I'm thinking of is just mesh. That way it can breathe. Because like the capture card doesn't heat up. This hub doesn't really heat up. The power bank does kind of heat up, but it doesn't get super duper hot unless there's like a huge draw. Um, which, like I said, I'm probably if I keep it on, it'll probably just keep it trickled. And even then, I'm probably gonna arrange these in such a way that this is probably like less so right here and most more so uh here. And that the way I can move these a little bit further this way so they're not right next to this, allow like insulating it or anything like that, you know. And I'll probably just keep the like, I'm thinking of having it zipped, but I'll probably only have it like completely zipped up when it's like raining or something. And that's only if it's like not covered. But I'll probably have it like unzipped for the most part. Um, and then I'll just have these cables uh with one of those twisty ties to keep them together. Um, and then the tablet will be in one of these bags with its own because it's its own heat source, and let that because it's got fans on the back, so I'm just gonna have it so where the fans are facing up and it's just expelling its heat however it needs to. And then this Wi-Fi puck, I don't know how hot they get, so I'm about to find out. Um, but that's really the only thing. I I'm probably tomorrow gonna test how much data this thing will snatch from my phone. Because I don't really use the hotspot for anything else. So if it's something that like I can only do like one stream at a time with it, because like I think it's only like 30 gigs. Let's do some math. So I'm streaming at 6 kilobits per second. How many kilobits in a gigabyte? Damn. All right. So why? Stupid. That says kilobyte. We're doing kilobit. Damn. I'm probably gonna have to go like. So you got a kilobit, and then we're gonna go to a byte. 1 kilobit is 125 bytes. So I can probably go to a gigabyte. Oh, it goes so fast. A kilobit to a kilobyte. Okay. So we're gonna do 6,000 kilobits. Huh. Kilobits are bigger than bytes. So a kilobit, 6,000 kilobits, or no, not 6,000. Yeah. 6,000 kilobits. Damn. So I wrote that wrong. I just wrote 6 kilobits. So 6,000 kilobits is 750 kilobytes. And 750 kilobytes is, oops, I forgot to change this one. This one now is a kilobyte. What's a KB byte? I don't care. That's irrelevant. Is 0.75 megabytes. What? And we're doing 0.75 megabytes per second. Which, if there's 60 seconds in a minute, why am I still on conversion? Oh yeah, because I was just doing some math. Well, I don't even know why I did all that. I knew that that was 45. So per minute is 45 gigabytes. So this is a second. This is a minute. So to an hour, that's another 60. That's 2,700. Or not megabytes. Gigabytes. So we know that we literally could never do this. Not normally. So unless I'm screwing up this somehow. Oh, you know what? I did mess this up. We're still on megabytes. I almost went back on track, funnily enough. And then I corrected my correction to make it wrong. So we're at 2,700 megabytes. And that's for 1 hour. We typically do 4-hour streams. So that is 10,800 megabytes, which to gigabytes boom, boom. I'm assuming it's 108. Oh, it's not that bad. That's only 10.8 gigs. So, with my what do you call it? Data plan, I could do this almost 3 times a month. Or like 2 6-hour streams probably. Or not, like more like 2 5-hour streams. I could do 2 5-hour streams per month, which I think for now might not be that bad. Because instead of doing, like, let's say I don't do 4-hour streams, right? Let's say I do it like slight exploration streams, because nobody wants to see me walking around, like just walking around, like from point A to point B. Now driving's different. And it really only like depends on like where we're going. Like I could do like a road trip stream, like on the way to somewhere, but that's only if it's particularly entertaining, because otherwise, like, why are you watching? Um, So I'm thinking of chances are I won't do anything from point A to point B. So I might do like two different streams. So let's say it's something where I start off here at home, right? Or on Wi-Fi somewhere, like so in a hotel or whatever. But like I say, I start on Wi-Fi and then I stream to you guys and I'll be like, okay, yeah, blah blah blah, this is what we're doing today. And then I would switch to um the IRL setup, but I would just wait until we're at our destination or whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing, and then I stream that. Maybe that touches 4 hours. Maybe it doesn't, but we'll know because we'll have done that activity, and then when we're done, that's just how much time we've got. And then we'll just log that. Because let's see, if we only have 30, if it's 10.8 gigs per 4 hours, let's actually roll that back. Or actually, hold on. Yeah, it was 2,700 megabytes per hour. So if we're only trying to get to a clean 30 gigs, what is our time limit? So divide that by 4 again. It's 2,700, so 30,000 divided by 2,700. So we can stream for 11 hours. Bruh. You were off for like a few seconds. So we can stream for 11 hours. So really, to 30 gigs is 11 hours. Roughly. It's a little over 11 hours, but it's like 11 repeating, so it's like 11.1 hours. So like 11 hours and like two, or what do you call it, 6 minutes. But this also probably counts like whenever I'm doing like the hellos and goodbyes. So a rough, really, it's more like a rough 10 hours that we have to stream, assuming that that 1 hour is probably like used on the hellos, the goodbyes, the BRBs, things like that. Outside, we have 11 hours outside. So if we use that wisely, we can probably do most of our regular streams by going like, okay, we do the little prep stream, the briefing, if you will, for wherever it is that we're going, and then we do the like the actual like we I'll go to whatever the location is, and then I'll like turn on the stream so that way you guys can see what it is that I'm doing, and we can enjoy exploration and adventuring. And then I think that'll basically be how I'm going to structure all my streams whenever we're outside and doing stuff. Um, Whatever that may be. Or we could end up with like bulk stuff, but I'll probably try not to use up all 11 hours, especially like I don't know what I might do over the course of a month. So now if it's like some kind of like project or whatever, but like if I can help it, I'll get us on real Wi-Fi if I can help it. I heard that there is a device that I don't know if it's a device or if it's like a like some kind of software thing, but basically what it does is you have your regular data plan. So you'll like you can basically like the way the device works is it's constantly looking for Wi-Fi, but it has like 5G, for instance. Ooh, gotta zoom back into it. like you guys can see that. And it basically can switch between these two things depending on what's available. So it'll be on your little 5G doing whatever it is, and then if it finds Wi-Fi, it switches to Wi-Fi to like whatever nearby free Wi-Fi that it can use, and then it'll switch back, and it'll just do that back and forth. I don't know how secure that is, but I mean, like, I'm pretty sure nobody in a McDonald's is like waiting for some random streamer to connect as he walks by so he can hack him or something. I don't think that's what that's all about. But, you know, we'll at least know that we can do something like this if we ever come into contact with whatever the hell this thing is. Um, I'll probably end up doing some more research about like where and how I'm gonna do all that stuff. Um, for now, I'm gonna have to like I'm gonna look into like battery management, heat management, um, and stuff like that. In fact, a certain streamer who is very popular for doing IRL streaming, and I've seen because like I mean there's like we have like quite a lot of streamers that we know of that are why do you need my it's literally oh hold on, this is what I was supposed to do. I don't know what the hell's going on with my computer. It's doing it on both the PC and on my tablet. So I know it's not just like my PC breaking down or something like that. But for some reason, when I log in to the user, it will tell me that my damn password is incorrect for no reason. It'll just be like, yep, password's incorrect. And I don't understand why. Um, it'll just like randomly do it, and then it'll force me to have to redo my damn password. And then it'll log me out of all my shit. Like, I think it's cute and all that it does that, but it really, really, really pisses me off that it does that at the same time. Um, for the, was it, I heard, actually, maybe I should go to Twitch and look up. I've never actually been to this person's. I've never, I don't know. I've never really like looked at anybody's whatchamacallit, like channel like this. Hmm. Okay. Cause I saw Streamer University. I saw it come up on I was watching YouTube on my own, just my own regular consumption, and they they had like classes, which is kind of lit. Um, and it was bigger streamers, um, explaining how they do things and such like that, or at least that's what I could tell. It also seemed like there was a whole lot of like, damn, why is my arm like this? Just from holding up the tablet. Um, Damn. That made that immediately better. Anyway, but it looked like there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened, but that seemed like that was mostly uh the student body. But we're going to, I don't even know how legal this is, not gonna lie. But let's see. I have a whole class prepared. Trying to teach science. And I don't know what that one's all about. 14 hours. God damn. These streams are super duper duper dumb long. I don't know if we're gonna watch this together because that's crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna make you sit through all of that. That's insane. But I think I'm gonna take this little online class that one of the streamers was doing in order to take notes on like setups. Actually, there's a couple of them that like they're little classes that I'm gonna like look at and see what game they were spitting, either through VODs or on YouTube if there's like a truncated version, so I don't have to click through 14 hours because some of these people were on for a grip. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do that one. 14 hours is wild. But yeah, I'm probably gonna like look through like the stuff and see what more I can learn, see if there's even simpler ways to do these things or something like that. 'Cause like this is starting to get complicated. The gaming stuff is kind of easy, with the exception of the whole webcam app thing, which maybe I'll just get a dedicated webcam. Like they can't be too expensive, right? Right? I hope not. Because like if I can like maybe just use the GoPro as the dynamic camera and then have the stationary webcam that will turn on every single time that I turn this thing on. I don't think that the quality has to be crazy, you know what I mean? I'm sitting here. What more could you want? Like you don't really need it to be in 4K. Um so I'm assuming maybe I could find like a regular webcam that will output whatever it is that I actually need, and that I don't have to worry about like restarting and all that crap, compatibility issues because of some old ass software that hasn't ever been updated for the last 3 years. 2022 was 3 years ago, bro. It was like two and a half because it was like December or something like that. But 2.5 years is a long time for software. For software, that's a grip for no reason. Like, and it's not like this company like went out of business. Like GoPro's still making stuff. They just came out with the 13. Like, what's the point? What's the point? What's the point of literally just forgetting about? Because like I understand that they're trying to like. This is like the thing that like kind of like pisses me off about like a lot of different companies. Almost every single company wants you to use their store. They want you to buy only their stuff, but they don't even do it all. That's my problem. They don't do it all. So it's like, why would you make me buy only your shit if you don't even have all of the things I need for whatever it is I'm trying to do? Like, Apple, for instance. Apple was the one that like really kind of started this, I feel like. You have your phone, and your phone can do quite a lot. They did a pretty good job at making sure that the limited tools that they do give you can do so much. Like you have basically a Swiss Army knife in your hand. I just realized this is like looking down for some reason. The angle is just low. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, but yeah, I knew I was like sitting kind of low when I was trying to like show the thing. But you if you gave me like like the iPhone or whatever, it does most of what it is that you want to do. Like let's say that you're streaming. Like I have a feeling that most IRL streamers literally just have their phone strapped to a gimbal and they just footage, you know? But the extra problem with that is if you want to like look at chat and things like that, that's really difficult to do. And it seems like how like the biggest streamers, we're talking like Speed and Kai and like all of like the AMP and all of them, those dudes are like they've got a crew that like all they do is cameras. Like, they've got the camera guy. They probably like, then they've got like the sound someone that's like in charge of like the sound probably, and they've got the little cameras that are not the cameras but they're microphones that they have like strapped to their chests or whatever that someone is actively monitoring. you know they have what is it, like mods that are switching scenes and things like that. Like I saw there was a video and it was Kai smoking with Snoop Dogg, and they had someone, so they had a camera set up outside the van, and then the camera or whatever that was inside the van because they're hotboxing, and they had somebody who was switching the scenes in and out of the van so they could see what it looks like from the outside. That's like pretty high production value. People are on a payroll for that shit. I ain't got nobody on a damn payroll, and I ain't got no money for no damn payroll. So your boy's gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to get creative or simplify, or both. Probably a combination of both. I'm trying to do it to where I'll have it simple, but also creative, where I can do most of what other people are doing that are punching at a higher weight class, but I can, you know, not go completely broke trying to do so. You know, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm not trying to like use all my money. Your boy's got actual bills to pay. I can't waste all my money on this shit. It's not like I started like it'd have been different if I started like when I was living with my parents or something like that. But even then, like I moved out quick. I want to say that like no, I want to say I know for a fact that as soon as I got done in high school, moved into my grandparents' house so I can get the hell out of Riverdale. And then I was in Louisville for not even a full year before I went to the military. I was probably there for like 8 months, maybe less, maybe just 7 months. Yeah, 7 or 8 months is how long I was like living with my grandparents. It wasn't that long, and part of that was the summer after high school. I wasn't 18 when I graduated. I turned 18 like a month later, 2 months almost. Because I want to say that it was like May, like end of May is when I graduated. Because I don't think it went all the way to June because Georgia doesn't have snow days like that. Uh so yeah, I graduated in like May, turned 18 in July to where I could, and I was trying to get a job before that, and it wasn't really working out. They didn't want no kid or whatever. Um, got my first job, or my first like actual like you get paid every month job, or you get paid at a regular basis job. Um, in July, like like a week after my birthday, and then and that was through like a reference, and then I worked there up until like September. So like what, July, August, September. So I worked there for like 3 months. Now I think about it, it felt way longer than that, but I think it was only like September. So it was like all of July, all of August, all of September. I got another job that was the same thing but paid a lot more, but was way more work. And I worked both of them for like 2 weeks because it was just an overlap. Because the other ones they hired me way faster than I expected them to. And I was like, okay, damn, I guess I start. And then I did that, but that place was like so much further away from my house, and the buses stopped running by the time the shift is over. Well, the buses stopped running like right after the shift is over, but I was a dishwasher, and a part of the job was I had to like clean up the kitchen. And it was a big kitchen, so like it took hours. Like it took like an hour or two just to just to clean up everything, and then it gets inspected, and if they find anything you got to fix that, and then you can go home. Then you clock out. So like your boy was putting in, like I was part-time technically, but your boy was putting in pretty close to pretty close to 8 hours a day. It's just that I was working fewer days. That's it. Um, but I didn't have a license yet. I was still only, because I want to say like what I had to, I turned 18, then I had to then live in Kentucky again for a certain amount of time before I could get um before I could be like seen as a resident to get the driver's license. But I still had to get the permit because until you're 21, you at least have to have your permit for 6 months. Um, so like if you're 18, you still have a permit for 6 months if it's your first time getting a license. So I still had to wait 6 months before I could even take the test. But that 6 months, if I remember correctly, was like just a little too long, and I had already gone to the military to like basic training by the time I would have hit it. So your boy was just rocking a permit, so I can't drive by myself. Um, you know, Kind of annoying that it wouldn't turn into like a restricted license like almost immediately. Like if I'm 18, come on, mate. Like, maybe like make it like 3 months. It don't take that long to learn how to drive. Especially because most people, by the time they take their permit, they've already done something. They've already like had their parents try to like drive them. Dang, I wrinkled the hell out of this doing the tablet thing. Um, but yeah, I I didn't even have my driver's license by the time I left. And then I went to basic training, and then I went to tech school. That was like all of like 6 months. And then by that point, I literally, as soon as I graduated the tech school, I had to, because this is how fast the military moves. I had to call to try to get a slot to take my driver's test before they sent me to England, because that's where my first base was. So I had to go to the UK, and I was not about to go there with no fucking license. So I was like, let me see if I could just get fit in to something. And they were like, oh well, we like to support the troops because it's Kentucky, and they they were like, oh yeah, we're just gonna get somebody who will is willing to fit you in, and it was like a retired colonel, and I did the license test, and then he gave me a little bit of leeway, um, and then I passed, and yeah, and then the rest was history. I went to the UK for 4 whole years with only like a few months of time that I was even in the States. And then I came back for like a month because I had to wait a whole month just to get on the rotator to go to Japan. And then I've been in Japan ever since then. Late 2020. I ain't left Japan since. I did like one, maybe not even a whole month in the States since then. That's with like the TDY to Alaska. I don't think I spent, I don't even know if that was a whole month. I feel like that was more like 3 weeks. And probably not even quite 3 weeks. I think it was like 20 days that we were there. And then I spent like one extra day because on the way back, something happened, I think. I don't even remember. I might be mixing TDYs. But yeah, we were stuck like or we like we were like I've been here this whole time. We were only there for like that 20 days or whatever, and then we were gone. It was that fast. Like I was haven't been there this entire time. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't really have and couldn't really do. Like I couldn't just start streaming like that. In all that time, like there's probably somebody out there that was doing a streaming career and is successful. Maybe. Maybe. I don't keep up with streamers like that. So if it didn't make it to YouTube, I know who they are. So maybe somebody's out there that is making money streaming and is in the military, but they probably ain't got the job I had. They almost guaranteed don't have the job I have, or that I had. Then, but even then, it's like you can only do that. You can only make so much money before you start having to like report that to the military as well. And the military might tell you to stop. Um, and that's the thing. I've seen people's TikTok careers get cut short by the military, where the military is like, stop doing all that. Cease, you know, before you start catching UCMJ shit, you know. But uh but assuming that I could have done that, I didn't know I could, at least. So there's that. Like so like yeah, I'm kind of like I'm starting pretty late and I wasn't thinking about doing anything like this while I was in the military. So it's not like I saved up for it or nothing. You know, I was just living life and then once I got out, I was like trying to stay in Japan and ain't no streamer visa in Japan. Why you if you're a streamer, like unless you own a business and you're doing something and making a set amount of money, you have to make a certain amount of money in order to even stay here on a business visa. And so you have to be doing that, make money on the business, not the stream, and they don't count streaming as a business. Like I could be like, oh yeah, like my streaming brand, but they'd be like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care that you're an influencer. You can influence from your country. So like your boy would have to have like some kind of business that I'm running, selling something and paying Japanese taxes, and then they'll be like, okay, you can stay. But like until I can figure that out, I'm doing half and half. Doing like my streaming part time and then my actual job. And my job right now is, 8-hour days. And I'm overnight. That's a thing. But being working overnight allows me to stream at this time when people in America are eating and getting ready for bed, but are not, they're still, that's when they're consuming most of their stuff after work or whatever, because most people aren't watching in the middle of the day. Well, most people are. Actually, I don't know. 'Cause I feel like I see like most of the streamers um stateside are like when especially IRL streamers, the ones that seem to be making like the most, those people are like they're doing all their stuff in the middle of the day. The only people I see that are like I assume are streaming at night for them is like Queso, because it always looks dark in his videos. But like if I think of like Asmon, Extra Emily, Imaru, Pokimane, I think Kai streams at night. Kai Sinat. But like Speed streams all kinds of random times of the day, and I think he's probably streaming all day because he be all over the damn world. So, but it is like daytime most of the time, until it eventually becomes nighttime. But then, yeah, everyone else I can think of, NMP, those groups, was it OTK or AMP, all that stuff, all those people, they seem like they're doing stuff in the middle of the day, and they all live in like Texas and like California. So maybe people are really going crazy over during the day, or maybe people are just watching at work. Maybe people are just like, I'm just gonna sneak this at work and just gonna have this playing. I don't know what they're doing, but you know, it's also not a good idea for me to be streaming at the same time as those behemoths. So, if you're trying to watch something while you eat, maybe you log into Twitch and you find me. That's the hope. Uh, or somebody goes, "Hey, you seen old boy? Blah blah blah." Maybe they found me. Maybe it's word of mouth or something like that. We'll see. We will see. Also need to finish editing on my Oblivion stuff and putting out all those shorts and things like that. And then I think I'm going to, because I was thinking of like, oh, I'll do the stuff like after the fact. But I realize it's probably better if I'm doing like, let's say whatever segment that I'm doing, especially if it's like a multi-stream segment like Oblivion was, where I was playing that every day. I think instead I'm just gonna I'll probably start, because also like it was a little bit overwhelming adding all the streams that I had done so far, because it took me a while to find a editing software that could do the things that I wanted it to do at the quality that I wanted it to, because there's a lot of stuff that would compress the video, and then when you try to output it to like YouTube, it looks like shit. So I'm trying to get to come out looking like relatively like it did when I was streaming, because if I'm doing a 4-hour stream, I know, but then again, I don't watch streamers like that. I know I couldn't be sitting there watching a 4-hour video of somebody playing a video game. I'm clicking through that shit eventually. Now, unless it's like a game that I love, like I'm not like there's games, and even then, like, but this is me, and I feel like a lot of people aren't like me. Is I could if it's something that I really really like watching someone do, it's usually something that I couldn't do myself, or it's entertainment. Like, I mean, it's all entertainment, but it's something that I wouldn't want to be doing, and it's more entertaining to watch than to do. But the reason why I don't watch sports is, even though I don't really play sports, I would rather play football than watch football. I would rather play basketball than watch basketball. But or like even like music to a certain extent, but at least with music, like, it's so different from person to person that it's an entire expression that I couldn't do that. I don't have the thoughts that that person's thinking, so the way that they express their thoughts are something that's just never going to come to mind for me, so I'm watching their thoughts. And that's really like all the stuff that I watch is usually something that has to do with someone conveying their thoughts to me in some way. Playing video games, not so much. Now there's like with the watching someone play video games, there's like the watching it for their reactions. And I might watch if it's a game that either I couldn't play, like for instance, up until I got a PC, there's a lot of games that I was not able to play. Or there's like what is it? People that were entertaining in their own right and they happen to be playing a video game, like Corey. I don't even have to say the whole name. Everybody know Corey. Half of us are samurai at this point, right? Like, he's entertaining and he's playing video games, you know? Now, there's also something to be said to the fact that like a lot of the video games that he plays, if it's not like one of the horror games, which apparently I think are free, or maybe it's just like a subscription or something. I haven't looked. I really need to look into itch.io because I want to play horror games. But those those videos, he's just entertaining. So when he does the stuff before he plays the games, like those skits that he does, I watch those because it's actually entertaining, you know. When Caleb City of it like occasionally pulls out his skits, I'm watching those because I'm not like filming those things isn't something that like it's not more fun. Well, some probably a lot of times it probably is depending on the person, way more fun to stream it than to watch it. But otherwise, nah, I'd rather just watch it. It's 5 minutes of my time and 5 hours of theirs, you know what I mean? But like, when it comes to like video games, like I don't watch people play Monster Hunter. I play Monster Hunter. I don't watch people play Final Fantasy 14. I play the hell out of Final Fantasy 14. Now I'll watch somebody tell me how to play Final Fantasy 14, but I won't watch people just playing it. I couldn't do it, But I know a lot of people that that's just what they do. They watch people playing those games. Um, Sometimes under the premise of like learning whatever it is they're doing, or just watching someone play at like a super high um level. Like, people that play like Fortnite and CS:GO and stuff like that. People aren't just watching. People are either watching someone who's very entertaining or they're watching someone who's very, very skilled. And the entertaining part is so subjective and is reputation based. I don't have that. And then the gaming is like, boy, I'd have to learn those games. I don't play those games normally. And the games that I do play, I don't think they're super skill based. You know, Even like the Dark Souls, like you can get through it without being like crazy. And if anything, funnily enough, I think that Dark Souls is less entertaining to watch when that person's like either cheesing too much or is just like way too skilled at the game. Like watching Let Me Solo her solo uh what do you call it was entertaining because it was crazy to see and it was uncommon and he wasn't cheesing her. He was 1v1 running the fade. But like those dudes that like they'll just walk up to the boss and then just Kamehameha wave and then boss is dead. That's not entertaining at all. Then at that point, it's just walking simulator with a quick cutscene, and then they go into the next boss. I don't want to watch that. You know, People want to watch like Dark Souls to see you rage and get pissed off because you're getting your ass whooped. See how long it takes for you to beat something or whatever, right? You know, but Fortnite and shit, it's all like all those like I don't know, I don't even know what you call those games because someone corrected me for saying battle royale, but like they all look the same to me because I don't play them. Those are like the matchmaking games where you are running matches over and over and over and over again. I don't know if I got the patience for that, boy. To learn how to get good and play, and it already doesn't like I don't play them already because I don't think that they're fun. And then to learn how to get good at the game, pay for it, pay for the game, and then learn it and then play it like all day. I don't know if I could do that. And on top of that, they look heavily saturated. Like I said, I would be competing with giants and competing with people that are good at the game and have no views. That's crazy. I don't think I could do that, bye. I don't think I could do it. Then again, though, I have seen that like a lot of the people that do like streaming, like Fortnite and whatnot, that it's like there's no face cam. Their titles are kind of wild. It's like, could I possibly get a little bit hot, like get a leg up on those people? Maybe, maybe. And even then, I think it would still take me putting out the clips people liking those clips enough. Because there's the other thing is there's people that'll watch the clip, then there's people that'll like the clip, then there's the people that'll like the clip enough to like to click my channel and click those links or subscribe or whatever. I don't know if I got that kind of sauce, you know. So I'm thinking slow and steady is probably gonna win the race. Streaming mostly every day, because I think right now I'm trying to do like I've got this little challenge of doing it 30 days of streaming, and then once I get a 30-day streak, then I'll be like, okay, we're gonna chill out a little bit, a little bit. We're gonna chill out a little bit. But when I have stuff, I'm probably gonna do it every day. Like Oblivion. Oblivion, the streaming every day when I was doing Oblivion was very easy. Oblivion was pissing me off because I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in that game I do not fuck with. But playing Oblivion every day was very easy. Because the other thing of my philosophy was like, especially for the video game portion, I play video games all the time. You know, might as well record it. You know, that's easy. That's not that hard, you know. Now, I'm a PlayStation player, so like Monster Hunter I have on my PlayStation on my own account that I don't really want everybody seeing. The same with like Ace Combat, which I don't think that's really like popular to stream, and I don't think it ever will be. But like you got like the Ace Combat, the racing games and things like that. Like Need for Speed Unbound. I've got that all on the PlayStation. Now, I'm thinking of doing like Assetto Corsa here. Um, Occasionally. Or if it happens to have some kind of like upsurge in popularity all of a sudden, maybe I'll get back on it and do some stuff like that. Maybe try No Hesi for the first time because I've never done that. Um, but or like the drift stuff, but or like online drifting and not just drifting by myself because I feel like that's not fun. But like learning how to tandem, I think that'd be fun. But I also I'm just gonna do that in real life. So there's that. The Whenever I get my damn tires, I was hoping that while I was streaming, this this GoPro would have charged, but it's not looking like it's gonna do that. Because I was gonna be like, all right, we're gonna try to go. You're gonna go with me to MSP to find out where the hell my tires are. They said to check back on Tuesday, but I had work and there was no way I was going to be able to stream the 4 hours to finish up Oblivion and then go to go to MSP and then go to work. Nah. I would have had to cut Oblivion short and we'd already started kind of late anyway. Um the hell was that? But yeah, I'm thinking of a lot of different things that I'm not sure how much I'm gonna do. Cause like I think what I'm gonna do is probably just document whenever I do like the little projects and stuff that I'm doing and whatever games I'm playing. Um and probably try to lean towards more popular games or like more collaborative games because I feel like that's a thing is doing things with other people I think is a little bit more popular to watch on like to like the audience is and on top of that like especially in the lower echelon, the lowest echelon I should say of live streaming, you're not talking to anybody. There's nobody talking to you. Now occasionally my friends will come up and so you'll see on my VODs that it's like for instance in this one no one's saying anything. But in some of my other ones, if one of my homies happens to be watching and he's talking to me, I feel like those times are more entertaining to be watching at the time. Now, where it's not moving so fast that we're like talking crazy like we do normally on like voice or whatever. But let's say I connect with someone else that's streaming or starting out streaming or whatever, and they're doing stuff, and we'll get much more clips of like things that were entertaining that are fun to watch, not just in the moment, but fun to watch like I don't know about over and over again, but like on a if you're scrolling through your reels and you see that and it's like so funny, you know. Um I'm not going to be going for viral moments or nothing like that because that's just not the life I want to live. Viral moments mean that people are going to be controversial, which I'm relatively immune to that shit. Like there's really not much you can say to me that's going to affect me in either way. Like you can send me death threats. I don't care. But the main thing is how that affects the people around me. Now, granted, I feel like most of the people I know wouldn't care about most of the things that people would say or do, but there is you know, the occasional weirdo that might put much more effort into being a fucking nuisance. And, there's some people that like I think most people, if you're not reacting and you don't really care, they would just be like, "Oh, well, damn, this person doesn't really give a shit." If they're not into, it's not fun to fuck with them. But then there's some people, it is fun to fuck with them, and that's what drives them. But then there's even more people, or not even more people. There's even like a even fewer amount, a very very tiny select few that will just keep going until they find the thing that makes you act up or whatever. But like, there's really nothing like that I can think of. You'd have to hit some incredible blind spot that I don't even know I have before that. And even then, like I don't even know if I would like particularly do anything crazy or crash out if it were like something for the people around me. That's why I just briefed them like, hey, don't be too close, don't use your government name, all that stuff. And I avoid using people's names and things like that, specifically for the fact that like, you know, if they're not trying to be like a part of this, like there's no reason to bring them into it, you know? And you can bring them into it simply by using their name, simply by showing their face. And, a lot of people think that they're ready for shit like that until it comes up to them, you know? And I think as long as the context is for me and not for them, then it's easy to deal with. Yeah. But that's basically it for the lab. Uh, we've got I was showing you how my whole setup is, showing you maybe little tweaks that I might do for the setup, like the different cable to leave room for a type C cable because the adapter that I've got is too thick. It's dummy thick. Um because for whatever reason this thing has them all this way instead of this way where cables can be like this. Cables are not often able to be like this, you know. So, we're about to see uh if I can find like the cable like that because I do have one, and this is the one that I said that I bent it, and it was worse than that. This is where I bent it back to. I'll do it like that so you can just see the silhouette. But this is what I bent it back to. What if you can do like that? I don't think this thing autofocuses like that. Yeah, I don't think it does that. But yeah, I bent this thing and I'm pretty sure it doesn't work now. So, granted, it didn't cost that much and it came with an entire HDMI cable, which is pretty good and it's pretty fancy. It's fucking GE, so you know that shit goes crazy. Um, but yeah, I bent the hell out of this bad boy. But I'm probably gonna get another thing that's like this, where it extends. If I can find one that's even longer, that's even better. But I doubt it. I very much so doubt it. Um, because yeah, if I could find one that's like this one is long and the actual HDMI is short, that's like the best case scenario. But most likely I'm probably gonna find another thing that's like that. It's kind of like a dongle, and then it just enough so I can put a Type C cable in it and plug it into the bag, and then that's gonna be the thing. And we're gonna just try to do keep the IRL stuff under 11 hours, for the data plan, and per month. And then if for whatever reason it starts to blow up and we need to like go out much more often, or on a particular time where we need to go out much more often, maybe we'll upgrade or something. Or I'll get the Wi-Fi puck. Because I found one place, didn't mean to kick that, but I found one place and it's that does my I say one I found one place. It's the place that I get my actual internet from. They have pucks because it's kind of like they kind of got big from the military, so they're much more military oriented. And a lot of military members use Wi-Fi pucks when they deploy, when they go super far away or something like that, um, where they can just use Wi-Fi instead of like data roaming charges and shit like that. And, or having to like swap their SIM cards and shit. Like that stuff is annoying. So what they do instead is they get a little Wi-Fi puck and they just use the Wi-Fi, because most of us don't use texting and calling anymore. Like I see that like plenty of people do like in the regular civilian world, uh, but in like the military and mixed military civilian world, or like the transitioning or the veteran world, most of us are using like Instagram DMs, uh, Facebook Messenger, Signal if you're weird, or usually just for work. But like, yeah, that's all we do. It's all we use. So we don't like most of the time all that stuff that we use to like talk to people is like Wi-Fi only, and then the only thing that we need our phones for is for like, you know, full-on civilians that don't have any reason to have you on Facebook and Instagram and all that shit. They'll just be like, "Hey, you know, like come in and talk to us about your rent or something like that." That'll be just regular calls. But like for the most part, like when we're talking to each other, it's just Facebook Messenger contacting each other, from like super far away. And I feel like even then, like, and then in like the streamer space is probably very similar, where who the fuck is calling? I feel like most of the time they're using like Discord, um, or like, Instagram DMs, like I said. So I think I've got that basically covered. I just don't remember what the price was. I remember thinking it was, uh, what do you call it? Not crazy, because it was a whole year and it was like very, very high. I think the lowest plan was 100 gigs, which means that um what 100,000 divided by 2,700 per the hour, 37 hours of IRL streaming is pretty high. But now the crazy one is that it was uh is the 500 gig, or even the terabyte. There was a terabyte one. Actually, no, I think it skipped to 2 terabytes. I think it was like 500 gigs, and then it was like bam, 2 terabytes. I knew it did like some crazy jumps. I think it was like 100, 250, 500, and 2. I was like, damn, boy, who the hell is using 2 terabytes? Might be me actually when I think about it. Because let's say 500,000 uh divided by 2,700 is 185 hours. Let's say I do 8-hour streams each time. I could do that for 23 different days. 23 different 8-hour streams. Double that if I'm only doing the 4-hour stream, which is probably what I'm going to keep it to. I'm probably going to keep it to 4 hours only. Um, in which case, uh, oh, this is a magnet. Um, but yeah, since I would actually be doing a mostly 4-hour stream, then that's like 46 different days. So a month and a half worth of IRL stuff, which I don't know how much I'm gonna do, and I don't know if all the time it'll be 4 hours, because 4 hours seems like a long time. Like I think maybe if I were to like, let's say in a whole year, I were to drift every weekend and stream the entire time I'm drifting, which does not sound like something I'm gonna be doing, then I would what do you call it? Then I would like stream like the 4 hours, and then I'd be able to like I wouldn't get the whole year. But if you take the 52 weeks of the year and take the winter out, the winter is a quarter of that. So we'll divide it by 4 times 3 just to be super simple. Then you have 39 weekends that it's not winter. But up here, it's winter for a real fucking long time. So it's probably closer to like 30 weeks where I can do drifting and shit like that. I'm not even sure if it's a whole 30. I think it's probably 30 weeks because there's because it's like it's more like instead of it being 3 months, it's more like somewhere between 4 and 6. And if you were to make it another 4, that would bring it down to like 35 weeks. And if you bring that down a little bit further, like to get that extra month to make it the 6 months, that's like 30 weeks. But it's like it's 30 clean weeks of like drifting that you can probably get to. Um, and then like maybe a couple of those weeks are just like on the beginning and end of those 30 weeks, a couple of those you can probably get a couple extra weeks where it's just cold. Um, or more like at the tail end where it hasn't snowed yet, and usually they don't close it until it snows, and then they're like, okay, it snowed. But then if we count the fact that like I'm supposed to have winter tires from like October to April, and that shit's 6 months. So I really only have like 20 something weeks of drifting, like where I can just keep doing that. Um, but more likely, I'm probably just going to do like Ebisu Circuit, where that's like a whole lot of streaming. And I might actually do it to where instead I'll use my data for stuff, and then like I'll use my Wi-Fi. Like let's say I use my data for like much more small things. Oh, we're just going to blah blah blah. We're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do that. And then for like the much bigger, longer streams, pause. But for the for the much longer, like 6 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour, 14 hour, like extra Emily, um, those streams, like yeah, I'll probably use the puck because that's just like if it's gonna one shot my data, then I'll probably just use the puck. Or if it's in a place where like Ebisu Circuit where it's in the middle of a fucking mountain, um I'll probably use the puck because there's just not good service for regular phone signal, and the puck's a little bit stronger than that. And then because like yeah, I've got unlimited data for the phone, so like I can really just use my phone however, and I'll never have the phone connected to the Wi-Fi. I just don't have any reason to do that. But the not the GoPro, but the tablet obviously is going to need to be on some kind of hotspot for everything to work. And in that case, I'll probably use the puck. The other thing that I was seeing that I keep bringing my mind back to is there is a wireless way to do it. But the only way I'm going to be able to do that is with the puck. So I think whenever I get around to getting one of those Wi-Fi pucks, maybe I'll go today and see what they've got going on because I should probably leave in like a few minutes. Um I'll go check out how much that puck costs, get up with my finances, see how that works out, and then if that turns out to be something that is cost effective, because it'll be useful to me some other ways as like an emergency Wi-Fi thing, like I said, because if my phone doesn't have that much service but the puck's a little bit stronger because it's dedicated to grabbing service, then you know, that's probably going to be the thing. And also for things like, for instance, like if I go to the Philippines, where like this phone service is like not that great in the Philippines. I don't know why. Like, I mean, in Manila it's great, but like once you get into like the smaller towns, it drops off so fast. It just like service will either be like absolutely excellent or it's just dog shit out of nowhere. And you could like sometimes I've even had it to where I went from a place that had dog shit data, went to a place that has like fewer people, and it just got better. I'm just like, what the fuck, So yeah. But in those cases, having that Wi-Fi puck is probably legit. Um, so I might look and see what like I can min max with the plan. Uh, and it's a yearly subscription, so like maybe if I know I'm going to the Philippines that year, I'll get the slightly bigger plan, and then if I'm not, then I'll get the slightly smaller plan that I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just streaming, or maybe even like work my way up. But if I remember correctly, you can't, or I think it costs more to just top up. So I think I'm probably gonna go start with like a little bit higher than I would normally get, or I would think I need, and then get higher if I know I'm going to the Philippines in a year or that year. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. Well, no, I think I kind of want to go this coming January, which is a stream in and of itself. Uh, I'll just have to be very mindful of the privacy of the people that I'll be around, you know, because I'll be hosted. Um, and these people live like regular people lives. I don't need nobody fucking around with them. But yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go research this the Wi-Fi puck thing. I'm gonna go see if I can find a slight like an extension to the HDMI. And then I'm also gonna find a little mesh bag. I can probably find that at the BX. And because I didn't find it in the store I went to today. And return this Jehovah Witness Bible that I have. I say return. Give the chaplain this Jehovah Witness Bible that I have. Um, and yeah, I'll probably talk to some of the homies and like also figure out the itch dot not Twitch, the itch.io thing. Is it just my hair being no, that was random piece of dust. Um but yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna figure out the itch.io thing. So we're probably gonna go back to playing games because I think I want to plan the IRL stuff like ahead of time. I don't want to do like impromptu stuff because it's it's got a little bit of a setup, at least what I'm doing, because the capture card that I've got, it allows you use the camera to select stuff, and you have to select the webcam through the camera, and the way you do it is not intuitive at all. It tells you like you have to hit a button and that cycles through all the buttons on the screen and then you hit the button for OK. I thought that was crazy, but I'll probably figure out how to do the the quick button presses, I'll just know. Um, I also need to delete one of the videos that's on it. It was just like me trying to figure it out. Um, or no, it was me trying to live stream to this server thing, which is a whole other thing that I was about to get into, and then I realized, no, I probably shouldn't, because that shit is also complicated, and like I said, can't really do it without the Wi-Fi puck because I'm pretty sure it goes specifically by IP address, and I don't remember. I don't know if IP address if your IP address changes when you're on a different Wi-Fi. I'm not into IT like that, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna try to figure this shit out. I'm gonna try to see if what other tools I have at my disposal, how much that costs, and whether I'm willing to pay for it. And then min max between those things. But I'll probably just be using the phone hotspot for the foreseeable future, and then jump into the big boy Wi-Fi card when I know I'm going somewhere, or when I'm gonna start doing shit like that, like Drift Matsuri. So that might be in a couple months, and then yeah, or maybe I'll go halfsies with somebody that I know that also wants to use a Wi-Fi card. We'll see how that works, and you'll know when it happens. But until then, well, really, more like until next time. Bye.